The difference of two squares is what we're looking at in this video. It's split into 5 parts. So in part 1, we're going to look at examples like this, just basic examples. In part 2, we're looking at examples where the order's being reversed. Then we're looking at examples where there's a coefficient on the x squared. And then we're looking at examples where there's a coefficient on both the x squared. And finally, we're looking at examples where we need to take out a common factor first. So the way my videos work, I'm going to do the example on the left, which is I do. You are then going to press pause and have a go at the example on the right, which is you do. So here we've been asked to factorize this. So factorize just means to put into brackets. Now what you should notice about this question is both terms are squared. So that is squared, and that is a square number. And that is a negative in the middle. This is what you call the difference of two squares. So when you have the difference of two squares, the answer just becomes that. So we just take a square root of the 16 and we write a positive and a negative here. Okay, so that is the answer here. So just to reiterate that, we've got two square numbers, that square, and we've got a negative in the middle. So this is called the difference of two squares. So all I've done is I write the x there, I write the square root of that there, and one bracket's negative, one's positive. And now you'll notice, if I expand this out, that'll be x squared minus 4x plus 4x minus 16. And these two cancel out because they're just minus 4 and plus 4, and you're left with x squared negative 16. Okay? So hopefully you've pressed pause and had a go at the example on the right. So again, we write in a double brackets. Both numbers are square numbers, so we square root both of them. That gives us that, and in one bracket we put a positive, and one bracket we put a negative. So here are some practice questions. Press pause now and have a go. Here are the answers. Mark your work. So moving on, now all that's happened is the order's been reversed. Previously we had the x squared here and the number there, but it makes no difference. We've still got a square number here and a square number here and a negative in the middle. So this is still the difference of two squares. But because the order's changed, we put the square root of 25 on this side and we put the x on this side. Okay, we literally just follow the exact same order. So it was the number and then the letter. And again, if you expand this out, you will end up with that as well. So again, if I look at the example on the right, hopefully you've pressed pause and had a go at it. So this would end up with 4. Again, square root of 16 and square root of x, that would give us that. So here's some practice questions. Press pause now and have a go. Here are the answers. Mark your work. So moving on, now we've got a coefficient in front of that y squared there. So the letter itself doesn't matter as long as it's square. So what we've got here is a square number, a square, and a square. So because they're all square, we do the exact same thing. We square root them. So the square root of 4 is 2. The square root of y squared is y. The square root of 25 is 5. So again, exact same approach. I've just square rooted this, and I've square rooted this, and that's how I got that and that. Okay, and now the usual, put a negative in one and a positive in one. And now if you expand that out, you'll end up with that. So again, hopefully you've pressed pause and had a go at the example on the right. So we're going to square root this. That gives me 3y. Square root this. That gives me 4. So it's 3y minus 4 and 3y plus 4. That's my answer there. So here's some practice questions. Press pause now and have a go. Here are the answers. Mark your work. So now we've got a coefficient on both sides. So we've got a coefficient there and there. So again, the exact same approach. So double brackets, square root this, that's 3x, square root this, that's 4y, and again 3x, 4y there, and a negative and a positive. And we just want to make sure they are fully simplified. So you can see these are fully factorized, they can't be factorized any further. I'll come on to why I said that in a second. So again, exact same approach here, double brackets. So that's 5x and 6y, 5x and 6y, and a negative and a positive there. So so before we do that, actually, here's a common mistake I often see people make. So what they do is they look at this and they go, well, actually, yep, I'm going to put in my double brackets. All cool. I'm going to square root that, which is 2y. I'm going to square root that, which is 6. So this is going to be 2y plus 6. Now, this isn't incorrect, but it's not fully factorized. Why? This can still be factorized, and so can this. Okay, so what I mean by that is 2y minus 6, I can write that as 2 bracket y minus 3, and 2y plus 6, I can write that as 2 bracket y plus 3. So my final answer is actually 4 bracket y minus 3, y plus 3. Okay, that is my final answer. That is fully factorized. So if you just leave your answer like this, that is not fully factorized. So you always have to check if it can be factorized further. If you go back to the previous example, you'll notice these are fully factorized. They can't be factorized further. Okay, whereas this one, when we factorized it, we noticed it's not fully factorized. It could still be factorized further. So another way we could have looked at this question could have been, well, actually, to start with, we could have taken out a factor of 4 and wrote it like this: 4 bracket y squared minus 9, and then that would become 4 minus, and then plus 3. Okay, and we end up with the exact same answer either way. Okay, so in this case, it did allow us to factor at the start as well. So here are some practice questions. Press pause now and have a go. Here are the answers. Mark your work. And in fact, just looking at this, I can see 1 and 2 where I've not fully factorized. So if I just correct them, so with this one here, for example, and this is pretty good that it's not done. So we can see we have 3 bracket 3e minus 4, and this would be 3 bracket 3e plus 4. So the final answer here should be 9 bracket 3e minus 4, 3e plus 4. All the others look correct except the last one here. So again, with this last one, it'll be 2 bracket x minus 3y, and then 2 bracket x plus 3y, and that would just become 4 bracket x minus 3y, x plus 3y. Okay, that is now fully factorized. So moving on, now with some examples, we need to take out a common factor first. So if we've been asked to factorize this, and we can see there is a difference, but they're not both square numbers. 2 is not square and 8 is not square. So what we can do instead is factorize it first like this, take out a factor of 2. And now notice, you always have to ask yourself, is this fully factorized? It's not. That's called the difference of 2 squares. So again, going back to what we've been doing this lesson. So my final answer will look like this, because this is the difference of 2 squares, so I can factorize it further like that. So the 2 just stays outside from here. So again, here looking at this, the only thing we can do to start this is to take out a factor of 3. And again, ask yourself, is it fully factorized? It's not. That is now the difference of 2 squares inside, and we can do that. Okay. So here are some practice questions. Press pause now and have a go. Here are the answers. Mark your work. So that is pretty much the end of this video. If you would like some more practice on this, I have got a full worksheet on this linked down in the comments below over on my website. And if you found this video useful, I've got loads of other content like this. Do check it out.